You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Come on, then! I'll bite your legs off!
I can take it.
Great power comes great responsibility.
We have a fault. Get to the chopper! Andy!
Life finds a way.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
I'm invincible!
Ready, Jack? I was born.
Please. You can kill it.
Just a fish wound.
I am the father.
Welcome back to SludgeCast Episode 2. Sludge here.
Matt here. Tyler here.
With our second episode being so big, we actually decided to do a separate episode to air for you guys, specifically for the Comic-Con topics that we talked about, because this weekend is Comic-Con and there's a lot of big things happening, and it took a large part of the time, and we don't want to give you guys a program that was almost 2.5 hours long, so stick with us here. We actually had done this separately. Hope you enjoy it, but here's all the Comic-Con sections from SludgeCast Episode 2. Moving on to the next topic is Comic-Cons, because yes, it's summertime, and it's comic convention time, and right now, today is, we do record these prior to the release, just so we can go through and make sure they're edited and add in things we need to, in case we forget something, but currently it is Thursday, and Comic-Con is in full swing in San Diego, and we definitely want to talk about some of the things that are happening, because we're big nerds, we love what's going on. And it's just Comic-Con season. It's a great thing to talk about. 2 weeks ago, I was actually able to go to the Knoxville Comic Con here in Tennessee by Fanboy Expo. Had an absolute blast. I've been to a couple conventions as far as, the nerd realms. Like, I've been to G-Fest in Chicago for Godzilla and a couple video game small conventions, but never to a Comic-Con. So this was a great experience for me. I loved it. Got to meet a lot of cool people. Got some awesome autographs. What really did it for me, especially, was being able to get face-to-face with some of my heroes. Two of them big time, and being Sam De La Rosa, who is an artist from Marvel. He did artwork for Venom, Lethal Protector, all kinds of Venom work, but he's a huge Venom artist, and Venom being my favorite superhero, anti-hero, whatever, we know how I feel about Venom, it was amazing to get to meet that man. And then talking to Roy Thomas, who was the first editor-in-chief who replaced Stan Lee when he stepped down as editor-in-chief. And he wrote great comics for, like, Conan. He brought the Star Wars comics to Marvel. He created Iron Fist and created Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider. So getting to meet these guys who created the heroes that we grew up with, that we loved, is just an awesome experience. So Comic-Con, definitely, anyone gets a chance to go one, you got to go to one. It's just unbelievable. So, and actually, before we dig deep into it, I was able to get an interview with Sam De La Rosa, artist for Venom. He's done a lot of Spiderman work and X-Men, and then also got to do an interview with Roy Thomas, creator of Iron Fist, again, writer for Star Wars, editor-in-chief for Marvel Comic Books. So let's just take a brief second real quick, check out these interviews, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. Standing here with Sam De La Rosa, famous artist and colorer for Venom, a big fan of Venom. Sam, I got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
What is your take or feelings on the character Venom, and how do you feel about the upcoming movie?
I've always been a fan of Spider-Man and Spider-Man-related characters. The Green Goblin was my favorite since the 60s, but once Venom was created, Venom became my favorite villain. So I enjoyed working on a lot of Spider-Man and Venom comics, and excited for the upcoming movie because it's based on my work on Lethal Protector.
That's right, yes. So, I'm super excited about that.
Really excited. Tom Hardy's a great actor, Oscar-nominated actor, and if people want to get in contact with me, I am on Facebook under artist Sam De La Rosa. Drop me a line, say hello, and I'll respond.
Awesome. Well, Sam, thank you so much for taking the time with me. So standing here with Roy Thomas, legendary comic book creator, writer, editor-in-chief to replace Stan Lee. One question for you. Since you helped create Iron Fist, what did you think about Netflix's Iron Fist?
I thought it was, pretty good. It had a few problems. Like, it was a little slow in some ways, but I liked it. I liked the actor who played him. Maybe he wasn't a martial artist, but he looked, but he was good. I hadn't seen him in Game of Thrones, right? Because I haven't seen that show. But I liked him. I thought that was a good version of Danny Rand. The Colleen Wing actress was very good. That as villains, maybe the Hand aren't the very best, but I thought that all in all it's a good show. Maybe I think maybe the second season could be better. I think they probably learned a lot from the first season, and I know he's going to be in the Luke Cage show that's just now debuted. Yep. So I'm looking, and I think that'll be a good excuse to get the two of them together. It'll probably be good for both of them.
I thought they were great together in Defenders. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, and I did too. I've really been disappointed they haven't done that they're not doing a second season of that right now. Because they said they were going to, then they changed their mind. But I think that I'd like to see Iron Fist stick around a long time. He's a good character.
Yeah. Thank you, Roy, so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, and we are back. So let's dig deep real quick into San Diego Comic Con because there is so much going on at Comic Con. Now, I didn't really write down things that are happening today or last night. I thought it was pretty cool last night. They did do the San Deigo thing, so they were doing a lot of horror stuff that was coming up and showed some footage from the new It movie that they're filming, which is pretty exciting. But there were some big things I really wanted to touch base on, at least say, hey, this is what's happening, what we can expect to come out from San Diego. Tomorrow, a couple of things I thought were really cool. Debuting this fall, the DC Universe, so it'll be like Netflix, but all DC content. It's going to be $7.99 a month, or you can do a full year package for $74.99. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this, who isn't sure if he's going to get it. I think I'm going to start because I want to see Young Justice. I'm really interested in seeing the Titans trailer, which is I do want to talk about too. They did finally release the Titans trailer. I've been looking forward to a live action Titans for a while. Let's state this first and foremost as a disclaimer for any younger listeners. This is not going to be Teen Titans Go by any means. This is
not
definitely
even close.
very far from that. So any parents who, their kids watch Teen Titans Go, and they're like, oh, Mom, there's this new Titan show with Robin and Starfire. I want to watch. Don't do it. So I'm not saying it's The Exorcist, but it's dark.
It's like, speaking of video games, it's like trying to get your mom to buy you Mortal Kombat when you knew that she was not going to allow that in your house.
Like, Mom, it's like a new version of Street Fighter.
Yeah, they just fight.
Yeah, not a big deal. So
what? They chop their heads off.
Yeah. Oops. So I mean, there's some language dropped in it. It's definitely way more violent. It fits in the darker DC canon for sure. But I think it's going to be interesting because something I did like seeing the trailer that just came out and is where Robin's at. We do know he transitions to Nightwing in the show. And I've been dying to see Nightwing for a while, but he seems to be in a place where he's not very happy with Batman. So he's
he's pretty upset
a little bit. So I'm interested to see how that show goes. Plus, you've got Swamp Thing coming out on the DC Universe streaming, which is going to be done by James Wan. And then, of course, tons of shows coming out. They're going to be doing a Birds of Prey show. Pretty excited about it, so I'm going to give it a try. But tomorrow is going to be a big kickoff for one of the first big shows for the DC Universe being Young Justice. Going on tomorrow as well. DC's big day is tomorrow, Friday the 20th. They've got the From Page to Screen panel in which they'll be discussing the final rise and popularity of DC when it comes to TV, comics, and movies. They finally kind of put a moratorium on the Snyderverse, as far as those movies. They are going in a different direction, so we do expect them tomorrow to be discussing this new direction. Part of that new direction is, of course, new films like The Joker, which they did finally announce today as well at Comic-Con, that Joker is going to be coming out October 4th of 2019. The Joker will be starring Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. Not sure how I feel about that. What do you guys think?
I don't know. He's a weird dude, so it may work out pretty good.
We're all skeptical, but it'll work out perfect just because of who he is.
Sarge, what do you think about that? Joaquin Phoenix being the Joker.
I knew they were doing a Joker movie, and I knew there were a lot of people auditioning for that. There's actually a really famous, or not really, really famous, but there's a famous comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe, who, if you listen to him, he looks and kind of like sounds like the part. So I find Joaquin he's a good actor. I think he went through like his weird phase that was either questionable, like whether it was on purpose or not, but he does interesting movies these days. And I think he's a monster of an actor if he has like the right stuff to put forth as far as like the right role to be in. So I would like to think he's self-aware of like, okay, the Joker role is a big role, and it can really kind of like put him in like the upper stratosphere of like being like one of the biggest actors in the world, and having like the honor of playing he would be like the fourth or fifth Joker if you count.
Well, no, sixth technically, sixth Joker.
Okay, so I mean, like, everybody wants to play the Joker, you know, because he's like a character that's almost bigger than Batman. Really, if you really think about it, and then with Jack Nicholson and then Heath Ledger's performances, you're just like, everybody loves him. So if he's aware of that, and if he takes the serious attitude, I mean, I didn't want to give Ben Affleck a shot as Batman, but watching that, I was like, you know what? Okay, I like Ben as Batman. So I'm with you. I feel like it's a weird choice, but I'll tell you this, and you know, I was a lot younger back then, but I mean, once I found out Heath Ledger's playing the Joker, I was like, man, this is going to suck. I had my
10 things I hate about you.
Like I when I found out, just seeing his name like in the titles, like no one beat Jack Nicholson's Joker, and man, I was wrong about that. So it's weird, but we'll see what happens.
I think to me it's weird, but I think it may be good, because now that I'm thinking about it, we were talking about how many Jokers there were. I mean, you've got 6 major guys that play Joker. You got Cesar Romero back in the Adam West days, Jack Nicholson, of course, in the Keaton films. Then next after that was actually Mark Hamill, who, in my opinion, is the Joker. Period. For the Batman animated films,
he's good.
He's the voice of the Joker, but I mean, he's the Joker.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you got Heath Ledger, and then I thought Jared Leto did a great job as Joker.
Oh, yeah.
So, looking back at them all, I can't honestly think of someone who's done a bad job as Joker. Everyone's been different. Everyone's taken their own take to the character, and they've been awesome. So, I have hopes. It's just I didn't expect him, you know.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, DC has also announced there's going to be another Joker film with Jared Leto. So, we do know that the one with Joaquin Phoenix coming out in October is going to be an origins film for him, and it's the director, I had to put his name down because I can't remember his name, Todd Phillips, who did the Hangover franchise. He's who's directing this, so it'll be interesting to see. Originally, Martin Scorsese was supposed to be doing it, and I don't know why he dropped, and that kind of bummed me out a bit, but that would have been awesome. So DC's got a lot coming out tomorrow to announce. I mean, they're doing a lot of changing as far as especially their TV, you know, their their movie series going. And then of course TV's going big still. I mean, Arrow finished last year with stronger numbers than they had the year prior. Flash is doing strong. I mean, even Legends of Tomorrow kind of got iffy as far as ratings, but still held strong. Supergirl did great. They just announced that they, of course, with a big crossover next year, bringing in Batwoman, who will be there for the big December event. They're going to shoot a pilot episode to see if they can get a Batwoman series going. So there's a lot going for DC, and I think it's going to be a while, but I think DC's finally at that restart place to where they can start to kind of catch up to Marvel. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff from DC. Of course, also tomorrow, Marvel is got an entire panel for the new Cloak and Dagger show, which I think is going to be absolutely awesome. I found out about Cloak and Dagger from Spider-Man Maximum Carnage story arc. Do you remember them in that, Sarge or Matt or Tyler? You guys?
Mm-mm.
No. Oh man, they were awesome in it. So it's interesting because they're two totally separate people, and they have their own powers, but together they're just infinitely stronger. So I mean, and they come from two different walks of life. So it's gonna be really cool. It's kind of shows to be playing out as a teen drama, dark type show. It's going to be good, but of course they got a whole panel dedicated for it tomorrow. Sony Pictures, this is one I really wanted to get to, tomorrow evening, they have their panel. And of course the big things that they are going to be driving for tomorrow is Venom. Do we even need to go into how much I love Venom? So the Entertainment Weekly just did an interview with Tom Hardy and Ruben Flesher about the movie. They did an interview with them and released a new picture of Venom, and Venom looks even better than he did in the trailer. Like, I'm so stoked about it. It was interesting. I do want to note, I was talking to Matt about this in Tom's interview, because we know Venom's going to be rated R. It's going to be, I do really think that Sony, because they have license to all these Spider-Man characters, I think they're going to go with a very anti-hero setup for their own cinematic universe, because they did announce that Morbius is coming out. They're going to be filming it. They cast Jared Leto in the role. You got Venom. They're wanting to build to a Sinister Six film. So, and I think Venom is going to be the start and the groundwork for that. So I'm really excited about it. Tom Hardy did mention something about in that interview of Venom not being the normal superhero, because something along the lines of, you just don't see Captain America biting the heads off criminals. So this is probably going to be a pretty intense film. Yes, Sarge, have you seen the trailer for Venom yet?
Oh, yes, I have, and I'm really stoked for this movie and what they have in the future for it, because I can only hope that with this movie, I hope it's successful, then it just leads into Carnage. I just hope it goes in that direction. I'm sure it will, but come on.
They're going to. Now, I don't know if you heard or listened to the first podcast or seen online, but Carnage has been cast. He's not appearing in this film till the end. He's going to be set up as the main bad guy for the next film, because this movie pulls so much from the Lethal Protector storyline that it just doesn't really leave too much room for Carnage. But Woody Harrelson has actually been cast to play Carnage.
Really?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Wow.
Which is going to be awesome. I mean, we were talking on I made mention.
I love him.
Oh, dude, he's going to be perfect. I made mention on the last episode, about how I think he would do as Carnage, being a psychotic serial killer type character. We all saw what he did for Twinkie in Zombieland, so we know he's going to be great as Carnage.
He'll do just fine.
Oh, yeah. So then Sony's also going to talk about the new Spider-Man movie, animated film, Into the Spider-Verse, which looks really cool. If you guys have not seen the trailer for it, check it out. It's really focused more around Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and then getting trained by Peter Parker. And of course you got Gwen Stacy's Spider-Gwen's in it and stuff. It looks really cool. That comes out, I think, in October. Really excited about it. Going on with Saturday, as far as Comic-Con, you've got all the big superhero stuff happening. You've got Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. All those big panels are tomorrow. There's a full panel on the Batman animated series coming on Saturday for the Blu-ray that's coming out, which, for those, if Josh Bramlett's listening, Sarge can attest for this, he loves the Batman animated series. If it's $150, he'll buy it. There's no question. I will too, but Josh loves it.
Pretty much.
So, I'm excited about it, and I think it's pretty cool. They got an entire hour-long panel for it. Bruce Timm is going to be there, who was a producer for the show. He produced the Killing Joke animated movie. Then, of course, a lot of the people that voiced the characters, Kevin Conroy, who's Batman's going to be there. They haven't stated, but they said there's guest appearances. Mark Hamill's going to show up because he's the Joker. So that's going to be really cool to watch. Sunday is, of course, the wind down day for Comic-Con, but they have a couple things that I think it's really cool. One thing in particular that I would really like to find more about and see what they talk about is there's a whole panel called the Women of Marvel. And I think it's really cool, and I wanted to note this one for the schedule because we're seeing a big rise of female superheroes, especially in the movies, which is great because, growing up, comic books and superheroes was really more for just the dudes. It wasn't really a big girls thing. But now with the rise of characters like Black Widow, Wonder Woman on DC's side, Captain Marvel on her way. There's a lot more empowerment for women as far as superheroes. So I think it's really cool. And they had that whole panel about the women of Marvel and their rising, to fame and what they've done. So I think it's really cool. Has anybody got any cool side notes or anything you're looking forward to as far as Comic-Cons?
Looking forward to, I think it's Saturday, the Aquaman trailer.
That's right. Yes. How did I think about that?
Yes, I'm excited about that because the poster they released this week was sick. Man.
I'm just excited to see Barnacle Boy and
Mermaid Man.
And Mermaid Man on the trailer. So
that's so wrong,
dude. That poster is awesome. Sarge, have you seen the poster for Aquaman?
I have. It looks awesome.
It does look good. It got me excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. Of course, we just learned today. They're bringing back the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Disney bringing that back on their streaming service. And then I just saw on Twitter, looks like, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday, Marvel has they teased an X-Men logo on their Instagram page.
What?
Yes. So who knows what they're going to say this weekend.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of don't want another movie. I would love, a new series.
Yeah, a show would be much better than a movie, in my opinion, for them.
Well, they got that show Legion that came out that's done really, really well.
Yeah.
Gifted's looking awesome. Bring us live-action X-Men. That would be awesome. I mean, it's going to be hard to top that 90s X-Men cartoon series. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that intro music, do you remember that? Yeah, that intro music just got me jonesed every time it came on. I was like, I'm going to get my Wolverine claws out and just take people out.
It says it's coming out Sunday. They're the Marvel X-Men panel. Here's the picture. It's just got the
X-Men logo.
That's X-Men logo. It says fall 2018.
Ooh, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
That's Comic-Con is I'm excited to see what's going on.
There's just so much stuff. I don't know how. I mean, industry I used to work in with signs. I went to their trade show. And I mean, the floor was so big, I couldn't do it in 2.5 days. I couldn't imagine going to San Diego and being a part of this.
No.
And even, I mean, you went to Knoxville.
Oh, I should have gone for 2 days.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't imagine trying to see everything I wanted to. And I was even watching some YouTube videos today of a guy online or live, YouTube Live, and he's broadcasting from Comic Con, and he's just going around. I mean, he's walking as fast as he can. I'm like, how do you even learn anything, But people are asking him questions like, hey, can you go here? Can you do this? He's like, no, I can't do that. The line's too long. So I'm just like...
I've heard that from people that's been to San Diego Comic Con. It's like going to an amusement park.
Yeah.
For some things, because you're just in line all day.
I mean, because I would want to do it at like an amusement park. You want to do it all, but you can't.
That's why they charge. That's why you
fast
pay
passes.
The ridiculous price of the VIP passes. Yeah, it's like, okay, tickets are $50 a day. Or, VIP for, $300.
Yeah.
Which would just be insane.
I know it.
I'm contemplating. I talked to Sarah the night before last about going to New York Comic Con.
Ooh,
so
that'd be fun.
That would be awesome because there are some big writers I want to see up there. Actually, Tom McFarlane will be there, so I would love to get him to sign my Venom comics, and of course Arthur Adams and Rick. Well, no, I don't have to worry about Rick Leonardi. Rick Leonardi, who he did the artwork for the Spider-Man 2099 series, which is my favorite Spider-Man. He's actually going to be at RobCon. Perfect segue. Totally almost forgot to drop this. Okay.
Yes, you did.
So coming up here soon as we're talking about conventions, next weekend, the weekend of the 28th, here in Tennessee, is a big convention called RobCon, which I found out has been around for almost 30 years in this area.
Been around a long time.
And it's been steadily growing. Now they've actually had to move. They were at a Viking Hall for the last several years, but this year is the first year at the Meadowview Convention Center in Kingsport because they had too many people there. I mean, a couple thousand people there last year, and they had to turn people away. So now they've gone to a bigger venue. And I've actually had the opportunity to go and interview Rob Pilk, who is the founder of RobCon. He owns a series of comic book shops here in this area. It's been here for 30 years. He's a great guy. He's awesome. I go down to the comic book shop of his called Mountain Empire Comics a lot just to talk to him and hang out. And so I was actually able to go last week and do an interview with him about RobCon. So check out this interview, and we'll be right back with you. Sludge here with the SludgeCast. I'm in the store at Mountain Empire Comics at 6th and Shelby Street in Bristol, Tennessee with Rob Pilk, who started this store and who's also the founder for RobCon, which we'll be attending here real soon. So, Rob, give me a little bit about the store. How long have you been here?
We've been here, it'll be 34 years in October. When we opened up, we were up next to the Burger Bar. And this is our 4th location, but we've always been downtown Bristol. Selling comic books for a long time.
Awesome. So, and give me a little history on RobCon.
We started it actually the year after we opened the store. And it was just basically just a bunch of guys with comic books. I always say a bunch of fat guys with white boxes of comics. That's what we had. We didn't have guests. We didn't have, costume contests, nothing like that. We just had guys selling comic books. But over the years, it's grown. And about 10 years ago, we were at we had some at the Paramount Theater out in that big old lobby of the Paramount. And I started thinking, I said, I wonder if we could really make this a big show, instead of just having a tiny little thing like we usually did. And we started pushing it and getting guests and getting things going, activities and stuff. And it's just got bigger and bigger. 5 years ago, we moved over to Viking Hall in Bristol, and that was a big move. That tripled our attendance the first time we were over there, and it's just gotten bigger every year since. And it got so big last year, we were kind of cramped. We just didn't have room for everybody, and I was turning people down to come. So this year we moved out to Meadowview over in Kingsport, the biggest convention place in the Tri-Cities. And it looks like it's going to be really good. We've got more activities, more guests, more vendors. Everything's bigger this year.
Definitely, especially with the guest list. So I know Tyler Mane, who was Sabretooth and Michael Myers.
He'll be there all day Friday. The guy that does the voices for Space Ghost Coast to Coast, George Lowe, is going to be there. He's funny. We've got a guy that does voices for Mortal Kombat. He's a voice actor. Jeff Isherwood, Michael Golden, Rick Leonardi, Arthur Sudam, Renee Wittenstatter, all artists of Marvel and DC and Dark Horse. I'm probably forgetting some people. But we do have a good guest list this year. It's the biggest guest list we've ever had.
I'm definitely excited that you're getting Rick Leonardi there. I'm a huge 2099 Spider-Man fan.
He's a super nice guy, too, on top of everything else.
Well, Rob, thank you so much, and definitely would like to touch base with you again at the convention. And
Absolutely. I'll be there. You'll have to that blur that goes by you. That'll be me.
That'll be right on. So, all right, Rob Pilk and Sludge signing out. Thank you. All right, so that's going to be RobCon. I'm really excited about RobCon because, again, as I was stating, Rick Leonardi is going to be there. I'm a big fan. I get to do an interview with him. Tyler Mane, who played Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie, will be there. Of course, he's more famously known as being Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween films. Another big name that I just found out recently, too, as he heard in the interview, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, is going to be at this convention. And you can bet your bottom dollar, dude, I've got to get an interview with him, and he's got to be full on in character. We're going to make that happen. We've got to. It would be so good. I mean, if you could think of anything, okay, Sarge, if you could ask Space Ghost one question, what would you ask Space Ghost?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with that. That's tough. I'd probably try to ask something funny because he's a funny dude, but I want to be like, what do you look like without your mask on? So I would like to know that.
I will ask that question. I will get the interview, and that will be one of the questions, and I will make sure he answers that in character. That would be awesome to find out, just for you, Sarge. So
thank you.
Just for this episode, we were able to grab some audio from San Deigo Comic Con as far as a couple panels that we were very interested in. So first up is going to be Jason Momoa talking about Aquaman, followed by some of the cast for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then wrapping it up with Ruben Fleischer and Tom Hardy as they discuss Venom. So these are some movies that we're very excited about. Hopefully you guys are too, and then we'll wrap this up.
Silly idea I had. I was like, I'm going to Hawaii. Why don't we try to release something to the fans, and I'll be with my family. And I used to jump off that cliff when I was a kid, so I was like, swim down to the turtles and show everyone that
you were born to be Aquaman.
There you go.
Yeah. How are you? I mean, we've already seen Aquaman in Justice League, but now this is your movie. How pumped are you that we're finally here and this is happening?
It's the giggle effect. I'm I'm just, it's, been 5-6 years in the making,
Oh my
Now
God.
it's finally here and I'm on stage, and my babies they gotta see it, they gotta see the trailer, which you're gonna see, and it's just,
Yeah.
my heart's big and open, and I'm so proud of it, and my cast is amazing, and the director, it's just, it's a beautiful origin story that I love it.
Yeah.
Really, really, really happy.
I feel like this is.
It's kind of like when I'm, sorry.
No, you.
It's kind of like when I'm quiet,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy. I normally I'm like, ah! But I'm like, I'm so proud of it, and I love it. I love you too!
This is the essence of what Comic Con is about. It's not just about the fandom, it's about bringing the work that we do to you guys. We get as pumped about it as you, and obviously Jason's super pumped about it. Welcome, the cast of Godzilla King of the Monsters. Welcome to the stage. Super excited. Okay, let's just get right into it, you guys. Michael, you're the ultimate fan. So how do you go from a kid playing with Godzilla toys to directing a larger-than-life Godzilla movie? And what does that feel like? And are you plotting?
What was that last part, sorry?
Are you plotting?
Am I plotting?
You are plotting, freaking out, losing it.
Yeah, no, I'm still a kid playing with Godzilla toys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're just much bigger, much more expensive Godzilla toys.
Seriously. You guys are all now a part of this incredible Godzilla legacy. What did it mean for you to sign on to this movie? Let's just start with Millie. We'll go down the line.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Hi, by the way. Hi. No, it was very exciting, and to work with such great actors, and Carl, who's not here. It was very fun, and I was very excited. But it was very nerve-wracking, just because it is such a big franchise and so many before me, probably way before I was even born. So that's scary.
It's scarier for us.
Yeah. It was very fun though. Yeah.
Had you seen any Godzilla movies before you signed on to this?
No.
Did you dive in once?
Yes, I did. I had to.
How about you, Vera?
Yeah, Godzilla was never my jam, but Land of the Lost was.
Yeah.
And so when I was a kid like this, her age, I would always be daydreaming, like sitting in the parking lot at AMP, looking over at the horizon, thinking about what if a mythical prehistoric creature just came my way, and how could I convince it not to eat me or charm me, and so I've been daydreaming about monsters for a long time, and when someone comes along and says, "Can I pay you for daydreaming about monsters?" I'm like, yeah.
I just love that like teenage Vera is super intellectual. How would I discuss my demise with this monster in order to persuade it not to charm me? It's like the most intellectual daydreams ever. Well, O'Shea, from what I understand, this is your jam, right? You were a Godzilla fan and you were a collector.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been waiting for this movie. I kind of got thrown into acting a little bit, but this is why you do movies right here. This is a childhood dream, and I'm glad I get to be a part of it.
Yeah. Were you freaking out? I mean, a lot of the time you're working, you're not seeing the monster, you're just imagining it.
Oh, I've been seeing him my whole life. And so I've been waiting for this. When you see a giant blue screen and you hear him roar, Mike made sure we felt him roar.
I had giant speakers.
Did you?
Speakers set up on set with an iPad so I could play the roars of the different creatures.
Very scary.
Whenever you want.
Amazing. That's super dope. You're just like, rawr.
Just like that, yeah.
It's kind of a sexy. Thomas, was this a franchise that you knew well, or was this like a new world for you?
Not a fan. This was me getting an audition and doing it and walking away being like, well, there's no way that's happening, and then being pleasantly surprised.
We made this movie for you guys. That's why we made the movie, because we share a passion about this character. As we all know, he's a much darker character, and I think that's what distinguishes this movie. Unlike other Marvel films, this is a much grittier, grounded, complicated character. There's no one more perfect to play Eddie Brock in Venom. But for me, as a huge fan of Tom, I love pretty much everything. No, I can say officially everything he's been in. So when I heard he was excited about playing Eddie Brock in Venom, it was like a dream come true. There's just for me, no one more exciting to watch on screen. He just brings so much complexity and depth to every character he inhabits. There's a danger and a complexity. And with what's unique to this character is just that duality between Eddie and Venom. And, you know, watching what he does with everything he inhabits, he just elevates it to the next level. So it was a dream come true to find out that he was interested, and it's been an absolute pleasure working together on this film.
Venom is by far, like, for me, the, like, I don't want to, like, upset anyone, but I think he's the coolest Marvel superhero that there is. And I just like the way he looks, first and foremost. Then also there's my son, and he's a massive Venom fan, and he was a very strong influence on me as to why I ought to play Venom specifically. I read the script, I fell in love with the character, and it's a double act, so there were two characters that I'm playing, and I'm a bit of a geek about acting, so I wanted to play. I did a film called Legend where I played two brothers. Oh, thanks. And I thought I could do a similar technique, but this time I get to play with a huge, like, visual effects monster. I got to give a lot of props to the sound boys, Coffee and Patrick, who actually, I would record Venom up first before I did a scene with Venom or other actors who had to work in the scene with Eddie Brock and Venom together, but they couldn't hear necessarily Venom, but I could. And the sound boys would listen to my cues or the other actors' cues and have to play or interrupt other actors with the right lines at the right time.
As a director, it was just so exhilarating to watch him have these conversations with himself all at once. I mean, seriously, like, because he is two different, you know, beings are occupying him, living in his head simultaneously, and the way he's able to be interacting with Riz in a scene, but also reacting to Venom, who's talking to him in his head. At the same time, just watching at the monitor, it was just, you know, so fun to see the way he was able to create this world.
He's an anti-hero, so he'll figure on a goal, and he'll do whatever he has to do to get to that goal, even if that means going around the outside and doing some naughty or bad things to get there. To kind of finds his perfect opposite partner in you know, this huge, great alien beast that arrives and lives rent-free in his body. and no one will believe him that it's there.
Carlton Drake is a genius, a billionaire, an inventor, and he's made a lot of scientific breakthroughs in his time. And at this point, the Life Foundation, which is the organization that he founded, is trying to answer the question of what does the future for humanity look like? Because planet Earth is almost done. As you saw in the footage, it's like we're on the brink of ecological and environmental collapse. So he thinks probably we've got a future in outer space. So it's in exploring that he comes across the symbiotes. From Carlton Drake's point of view, he's really trying to do right by humanity, trying to ensure we've got a future. It's just that old saying, sometimes to make an omelet, you've got to break some eggs.
I think we can all agree it would be pretty amazing to see Spider-Man and Venom face off in a film. And I know I can speak for myself when I say that I'd be really excited to go see that film. So I have to think that the studio is thinking the same way, and that at some point down the road, they're going to run across each other's paths.
Tom Holland recently said that out of all the characters in the Marvel's universe, the one that he would most like to face off with is Venom. So, how do you feel about that?
Who, me?
You ready to go face to face?
What, toe to toe with Tom Holland?
Yeah.
I'll have a go, yeah, you know. Well, you got to have a go, ain't you? Yeah, no, he's an awesome actor, and I'd love to work with him, and I love Spider-Man. So, but you know, who knows?
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for episode 2. This is Sludge.
It's Matt. It's Tyler.
Y'all have a good night.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
I'm invincible!
Ready, Jack? I was born